One of the stellar achievements of the National Conference of Bar Presidents is the ability of the organization to present a project to 350 bar leaders in 10 minutes and have that project proliferate itself throughout the country.
When lawyers are connected to their bar associations, they get information about cutting-edge programs, cutting-edge changes in the law.
So the mission of the National Conference of Bar Presidents is truly to place the organized bar in a position to affect change and remain the bedrock of our system of democracy and law in this country.
They make it available to you to meet with innovative brains who have experience. If you're a new president and they're going out of office, they have learned a hell of a lot in the last 2 years that you haven't had an opportunity to learn.
The National Conference of Bar Presidents trains leaders, it exchanges information, it provides examples to all the state and local bars of other bar associations, what they're doing.
You know, the old story that if you see a turtle on top of a fence post, you know he didn't get there by himself. Good bar leaders are the same way. They don't just happen, they're made. And this is the organization that's done it.
Most lawyers work in a community, they practice in that community and don't do much more other than what's out there in their own community. But when they get together at these meetings, they find out what's really working.
I was able to come to the NCBP, meet other women who had led bar associations, and have them give me the kind of advice that only another woman could give me. And that would not be something I ever could have received in my own home state.
Everyone has similar problems, and people have already done programs to help to solve those problems, and it prevents the duplication of efforts and the sharing of knowledge.
And so these bar leaders come here, get these great ideas, take them back to their own communities, and implement them.
When you come to these meetings, you're truly inspired. You leave all revved up and excited, and you come up with a lot of ideas, and you go home and you invigorate the other lawyers in the profession.
It's like somebody plugged me into a socket. I come back so full of ideas.
And as a result, I believe it improves the delivery of legal services to our constituency, the public.
And we've talked about children's rights, and we've talked about spouse abuse, ethical issues of facing lawyers and how they deal with the media or how they deal with each other.
I would say to any young lawyer, it will pay more dividends than what you will invest because of the friendships, what you will learn in terms of how to be a better leader. And everybody can improve, whether it happens to be public speaking, whether it happens to be being at the cutting edge of an issue, or perhaps it might even be at the end, receiving end of a referral.
I became a lawyer because I felt that I like to be a part of social change, and I enjoy the political and social issues that confront us, and I think lawyers can play a part in leading society to deal with those issues.
I didn't come from a professional family, but the law enabled me to be a professional person and at the same time deal with people who have serious problems, who are often overlooked by society.
Deep down in my heart, I was always a revolutionary for society.
I'd say that the value of being active in the National Conference of Bar Presidents is that you meet people from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different sizes of firms, but the philosophy and the desire for public service and professional growth is so intense that anyone could be a role model.
It's always going to be, they love their lawyer, but they don't like the lawyer on the other side, and that's just one of those conflicts that you're going to find.
There's a program going on now that the NCBP has a grant for called the Public Reform Initiative that has to do with the image of lawyers insofar as their representations as to the truth, and where's the line drawn between representing their client and speaking the truth.
Lawyers get a bad rap half the time about what they do or don't do. You know, all they see is big verdicts and big judgments, but they don't see the work that's going on in the community, how helpful they are in housing, aid to the indigent, and criminal matters and civil matters.
We have historically been the butt of a lot of jokes, and this will never cease. But I think that the NCBP has been aggressive in communicating to the public innumerable contributions that lawyers make to our society.
Today, only 5% of managing partners of large law firms in this country are women. Yes, you see them, but you see them at entry level only. You don't see them cracking the barrier within your law firms.
In 1985, the percentage of black lawyers who were partners in major firms, I think the top 250 was about 0.03%. Today, it hovers around 1%.
That is an issue that needs to be addressed as far as why somebody wants to become a lawyer, the role models and the faces that make people of color choose law as a profession.
You had California take a giant step back in some of the propositions which just cut the number of people of color going to law school. Same thing in Texas and others.
If we don't have a diverse profession, then our very, very, very diverse society will continue to question whether they're being well represented.
The NCBP is really working to diversify its ranks.
NCBP is very conscious of that and is very interested in making our law practice and leadership of our law practice equal for all.
My mentors come in many categories.
Dennis Archer has been my role model. He was president of the Michigan Bar when I was president of the South Carolina Bar.
Having Mona Tucker, and I think Mona was the first woman who was a president of the National Conference of Bar Presidents.
Among the landmarks, you certainly have to point to Chesterfield Smith.
Chesterfield Smith, who was not only a leader in NCBP, but was president of the American Bar Association.
African Americans were slow to come in until Chesterfield Smith broke the door down in 1971.
He's the only person I know that wakes up every day and says, who can I help today?
It's a wonderful organization which has endured over the years. It's become more important, more relevant, more significant over the years. It's critical that it be continued because it is so valuable and occupies a very important place in the legal profession of this country.
Society has become better at communicating and better at dealing with issues with one voice. And I think as a result of that, all issues pertaining to individual rights have gotten better, have improved over time, and the NCBP has been, one voice that has assisted.
When you go to law school, there's no class that says I want to be bar president 501 and here's all the challenges that you might face. The National Conference of Bar Presidents will be something that it may be called by a different name 10, 15, 20 years from now, but the concept will always be needed.
Bar associations, in my mind, have an obligation to be the catalyst of public dialogues on the most difficult issues that face our country, because most of them involve the law.
The reason we practice law is because no one has ever perfected it. And so we continue to try to be perfect. That is our goal. But we somehow never achieve it. But the challenge in life is trying to achieve it.
I think we ought to look ahead and take some of these major issues, how to restructure the profession to make it more hospitable to families, how to restructure the profession to make it more hospitable to minorities, how to restructure the profession so we can be decent to each other and not have to have lectures on how to be civil. Those kinds of things are very basic, and I don't think we just have to confer about it. I think we need to get in there and really make a difference.
The NCBP, in its 50-year history, has been a valuable resource for the American Bar Association, for state and local bar associations around the country. I think it is reaching a stage now where it is really just starting to find out what its potential can be. It's experimenting with new things, it's trying new ideas, and I think the future of this conference is really, really glorious.